About a week ago, Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man wrapped up its first season. Today, I'm going to rank all 3 Marvel animation projects on Disney+. Alright, so what I clarify as a Marvel animation project is the Marvel Disney Plus shows, Marvel Disney Plus originals, that are technically a part of the MCU, but also in a separate universe. Not part of the MCU, but, What If, apparently, they're all placed separate universes. It's getting confusing, multiverse stuff. But we got What If, we got X-Men 97, and we got Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. That's the 3 I'm going to rank here. And if you guys would like to, comment down below. What is your ranking of these 3 projects? And are you anticipating Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man Season 2 and X-Men 97 Season 2 coming next year? As I know what I really am. And with that said, let's get started with my number 3, What If. And it's not even close. What If is at the bottom. And I don't even know if it's fair for me to review this show or talk about this show. Because for me, I never finished a season. Season 1 came out. I think it released... Did they release every single one of their episodes? Or did they do the week by week? I don't really know. Because I don't really care. I watched the first episode. Wasn't a big fan of it. Quit watching it. And then when I had lunch at home... sometimes we'd watch a show, we'd watch Scooby-Doo, but one day we decided to watch What If, and we watched a couple episodes of that, and I thought the zombie episode was really good. I really liked the zombie episode, and that was easily the best episode of the entire series, but none of the other episodes really intrigued me, or anything that was oh, that's something I want to know. They were just who's thinking of these things? Who wants to know these type of things? Who wants to see Captain Carter be a whole center of a show? As cool as Captain Carter is, that's not what we signed up for this kind of show. And then we get to season 2, where I tell myself they were doing day by day by day by day by day by day. That's how they released their episodes. And I told myself I was going to watch their entire season, and it just kind of felt like a chore. It genuinely was oh, a new episode of What If released? Here goes 30 minutes, and I click it on, and I don't enjoy it that much. Again, there's some cool ideas here, but who wants to see a lot of these things? Who's really interested? Who's asking these questions in the MCU? And then season 3, I didn't even bother watching. I genuinely didn't watch season 3. I've just heard negative things about it, and just the show never was for me. So it's just a show that's not for me. An anthology series that asks questions that I don't really like. And it seems like everybody else agrees with me here. Because, you could ask questions. Questions that we actually want to know. What if the other half got snapped? Maybe what if someone else can lift Thor's hammer? What if Ultron won? Or other questions I think that's an episode, actually. But other questions like that. Things that people are actually asking. And then you decide to make, what if Happy Hogan turned into an Incredible Hulk? Or what if Doctor Strange was evil? Or, I don't know, what if the Avengers get killed? Okay, that episode was pretty cool. But Marvel Zombies was the only good episode, I think. That's the only episode. I've watched that episode numerous times. And that's because me, personally, I'm a huge zombie fan. I love zombies. So that was cool to watch for me. But none of the other episodes intrigued me. I am looking forward to Marvel Zombies when it releases in October, though. Because I like zombies, and I like Marvel. Okay, number 2, and let's be completely honest here. What If is at the bottom? Number 2 is at the top. It is so hard to pick between X-Men 97 or Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man was my number 1. I gave them both an A+. I reviewed X-Men 97 back on my old channel if you guys want to go check that out. But we'll talk about it here in a few minutes because number 2, I have to put Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. And it is so difficult to pick a 2 or a 1 here because I find both of these shows to be incredible. Now, I did post a review for this last week. Go check it out if you want to know more thoughts. I love this show. I thought it was great. When they released the first 2 episodes, I was okay. Every fear I had in the show, because I wasn't necessarily looking forward to it. Every fear that I had, every, unanticipation I had, I was, not looking forward to it. Kind of being confirmed here. I don't know what I think of it here. And then as soon as those first 2 episodes pass and we get the next set of 3 episodes, then the show's oh, so this show's good. You decided to release your first 2 episodes, the worst ones, first, and then this show got good. Because, man, this show is just such a unique and cool look into a different kind of Spider-Man world. It's got all the Spider-Man aspects. Spider-Man's Spider-Man. He wants to help people. With great power comes great responsibility. But then you also got the unique stuff. Instead of being trained by Iron Man or by, well, he did have Uncle Ben, but Uncle Ben, as far as we know, never did the great power, great responsibility stuff. Being trained by Norman Osborn. That's unique. It's something we've never seen in Spider-Man stuff before. You have Dr. Otto Octavius selling weapons to other bad guys. Obviously, he's a bad guy, but that's cool. We get Scorpion, who I don't think we've ever seen in a Spider-Man movie or show before. Well, we've probably seen him in a show sometime, but not as cool as this. Such a cool character. And what it does is just, you know, Ultimate Spider-Man, the comic series that is out right now, which is really good. If you like comics at all, or even if you don't, I'm not the biggest comic fan, but I think Ultimate Spider-Man, the run that's going on right now, is 10 out of 10. It kind of reminded me of that. A unique world of Spider-Man, a different look of Spider-Man, but still Spider-Man. And that's what was really cool about it. As someone who loves Spider-Man, that was really, really, really cool. Animation was great. All the action sequences, when they're animated, look fantastic. The voice cast here is phenomenal. I really like the voice cast here. Characters that we didn't think you'd fall in love with, you really like. A lot of people were complaining before the show came out that, oh, you're changing Harry Osborn. Oh, of course, he's gonna be black. Who cares? Like, actually, who cares about his race? Because you care about Harry Osborn. Because it's Harry Osborn, still the character, but he's a different version of the character, so you still care about that. Another character that I wasn't quite sure how I would respond after we were introduced to him in the first 2 episodes was Lonnie. I didn't think I would like the Lonnie plotline at all. And then, the more the season goes, the more his plotline gets interesting. The more that what he's doing, his transformation into Tombstone, you're constantly like, oh, Lonnie, you're making the wrong decision. But it's the right decision at the same time. And it's hard to watch because you start to care about his character. And by the end of the season, he's one of your favorite characters. And the street plotline stuff with the Scorpion was absolutely awesome. There's not like a real main villain of Spider-Man. It's kind of like an origin story, but just with Spider-Man stopping bad guys, if that makes any sense. But it is still awesome. Hits all the beats I wanted out of a Spider-Man show. And it just really, really works and really is hyping me up for Season 2. I cannot wait for Season 2. But my number one, my favorite Marvel animated project is X-Men 97. I'm sorry, I absolutely love this one. And again, it's a show I didn't know what I would think of it going into it. Because I didn't watch the original animated show. I've seen 1 season preparing for X-Men 97. I've seen 1.5 seasons, I think. And I was like, okay, yeah, it's fun to watch. You see these characters. We get plot lines that are from the comics. That's kind of cool. But I didn't really know what kind of vibe they'd be going for the new series, for X-Men 97, so I didn't really know what to expect going into it. And as soon as that first episode starts, you realize that they make X-Men characters so cool. Where in every X-Men movie, it's about Wolverine. Wolverine's the main guy. Wolverine's the guy doing this stuff here. And you never really get to see the cool stuff of Cyclops or Jean Grey or anything. You get to see them, but they're not as near as cool or front center as Wolverine is in any of the movies. And then you get here, and the first thing we see is Cyclops being such a badass. It is so cool. And you get those characters, you get plot lines from the comics, you get the stuff set up with Nathan, and the Cable stuff, and the time travel stuff, and the Mr. Sinister stuff that I found really worked here. And I was really enjoying the show. I found that it had a nice vibe until episode 5. And then episode 5 hits. And it's the attack on Genosha, where finally the X-Men have something. Mutant kind has something, and it's taken away from them. It's just instantly stripped away from them, just like that. And it's just so emotional to watch. You see all these people getting hurt, all the entire island getting destroyed. And then Gambit comes up. And you get Gambit's sacrifice. I am a huge Gambit fan. He is my favorite X-Men. I love Gambit. I love his portrayal in the original series. I loved his portrayal here. And to watch him die, sacrifice himself for the X-Men is emotional. I was really enjoying the show, and I watched it right here on my bed, on my TV. Well, not on my TV, but on my laptop, actually. And I was like, okay, this is a good episode. And then we get the last 15 minutes of the episode, and they're brutal to watch. And ever since that happens, you get all the emotions, all the plot lines, all the stakes, everything that you want from the show that just hits. It just hits and hits and hits and hits, and the emotional stuff hits and hits and hits and hits. And it is really, really good. You get to see Rogue and her, like, trying to go downfall because of what happened to Gambit, and it's just emotional. And then you get the season finale, and where it leaves off to the next season, I was a little mixed on, because we've seen stuff like that before. Our heroes getting scattered through time. Yes, we've seen stuff like that before. But I really liked it, because the overall ending and how they defeated the villain was really cool, and the villain was really, really cool in here. So this was a show that from 100% really hit with me. I wasn't necessarily sure what to think of it, and as someone who is a big X-Men fan, I found that it absolutely worked, and I cannot wait for Season 2. Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, X-Men 97, both A+ shows. They were so hard to put on this list, but I had to go X-Men 97 number 1. Tell me down below, what are your ranking of the Marvel Animation Disney Plus projects? I would love to know all that and more. And with that said, subscribe.